Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. Today we're answering AskHR questions on the subreddit because I'm banned. This is one of my favorite weekly things to, again, answer the questions. I can't. I've been banned from this subreddit, but I think it's interesting from the perspective of an HR manager, and I think it adds a lot of value to this platform. So we've got a question that comes in from California, and it says, "Can staff refuse to work if they're uncomfortable?" And the writer here, paints a picture. They're a small nonprofit media center, and they had a contract with another nonprofit for some training videos, and they had a member of the staff approach me saying that they didn't want to do it because they heard that the nonprofit that they were going to partner with had a reputation of sexual harassment. And at the time, they didn't want to mess with it, but so they didn't take the shoot. And a little bit later this year, the nonprofit who allegedly has this reputation says that they're wanting the nonprofit to edit the footage that they shot last year, and the staff member is saying they can't do it because it makes them feel uncomfortable, and employees can't make them feel uncomfortable. Now, let's paint the picture a moment here. This is editing the footage. So they're not even interacting with the organization in any meaningful way. Definitely not from a position that could cause sexual harassment, for example. But ultimately, to answer the question, so they said, are they right or are they being too sensitive? Is the question for Ask HR. They're being too sensitive, and not just too sensitive, but extremely too sensitive, such that I'd be really concerned for their mental health, and I would probably refer them to an employee assistance program. They, no, employers can make employees feel uncomfortable. For example, miners mining gold or silver or coal may feel extremely uncomfortable working underground, for example, but it's part of their job and they can absolutely be required to do that job. And if they don't do that job, they may be subject to discipline up to and including termination. So I honestly, this question makes me feel super uncomfortable. Yes, please make them do it, and of course you're in the right. The next question up is California again. These guys just keep having good questions. I think that some of this comes from an insane entitlement culture, maybe not reflective of California, but certainly cultivated to a degree there. The question is it breaking any rules if a manager has an obvious favorite employee? I have a manager who has a very obvious favorite. Before people assume they're not dating, it's more of a mom son relationship, which is creepy, but whatever. They do things like work out together. The employee will go to the manager's house for family dinners. They attend family events, and she tells them some things that shouldn't be confidential. They should be confidential. In this recent quarter, he was the only one promoted and given an award at the Christmas party. Obviously, my manager sucks, but is this an HR violation in any way? I don't think your company that you work for would be super comfortable with this, right? I don't think that they would like this relationship at all. I think it would be extremely uncomfy for them. And if they knew about it, I don't think that they would like it a whole lot, to be totally honest. It's not illegal. There can be legitimate reasons why an employee might be the favorite. Um, this employee could also be an extremely good performer. It's not clear here. I guess by context, I'm assuming they're not. And this is just sort of a weird relationship, but it's certainly not illegal. And it's kind of crazy to ask that. Why should it be illegal? Why should it be a quote unquote HR violation? Um, but again, I don't know that a company would be super comfortable with that, right? I personally would probably tell the manager that they need to back down and back off, and that I would question their sort of thought process and judgment. However, I it's not a quote unquote violation. That doesn't really exist. I mean, there are legal concerns and there are HR best practices, but that's about it. We'll move on to the next one. The next one up is this one from New York, and this one kind of cracks me up too. It says, I don't know if this isn't the question. Anyone worked for a European company? Well, I have. To answer that question, I have. I work for a European company, and I'm still fairly new as I'm only 3 months in. We do not have US holidays off for some reason, which I understand but find to be weird. HR tells us that on US holidays we should be on standby as our clients will be off, so we typically don't have much work to do besides internal meetings and internal work. I just feel we should be getting the days off, especially for federal holidays. So, and it says, any of you have any experience working for a European company and can attest to the benefits, especially on off days? So, a couple things. First, federal holidays, there are so many of them. I have never gotten off all of them in private practice, and most of them you will never get off. I don't, there are some pretty insane and absurd federal holidays. So you're not getting all of them off ever. But at this point, 3 months in, I suppose you missed Thanksgiving, which is odd. I think that that is a day that you should have off, absolutely. It's not required, and that's the key here. There are no federal holidays with respect to a private employer, so you can work all of them. You can work Christmas, you can work Thanksgiving, but really, of the major holidays that have happened, Thanksgiving is the only one that I imagine that a European company didn't work, or it did work. Christmas, I imagine that they did work, and I'm also curious if you're getting off the days like, for instance, Boxing Day if it's a British company, right? Or there's a few other European holidays that Americans don't get off. So it sounds like you're just not getting off any holidays, and that sounds like a place I would leave, but it's not illegal. Um, Again, having worked for European companies before, they usually give us off all or the major American holidays. About 10 a year roughly. Um, I I'm curious what holidays he's expecting coming off Christmas that he's expecting to have off. But you'll definitely not have all the federal holidays off. I can guarantee you that. Um, Other than that, if you like what I've had to say here today, or have some questions for me, please leave them in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.